Delighted to say Dan Brown is back with us this morning, the author of the Da Vinci Code, which, as you know, is a national sensation. More than 5.5 million copies of this book in print, still going strong. And it seems like all of the readers entered our Da Vinci Code contest. Now, back in November, Dan was with us, and he told us there were 4 codes built into the dust jacket of the book. And then we've blown up a big copy of the dust jacket here, and any viewer who could crack the code could win a trip for 2 to Paris. And so joining us to greet the winner is the author of the Da Vinci Code, Dan Brown, and I think you must have been amazed at how many people actually did it.
Absolutely could not believe. When I heard that 40,000 people finished, that hundreds of thousands had played, I didn't know what to think.
You know, my daughter actually worked on this, and she got 3 of them. The 4th one still stumped her.
The 4th one's tricky.
I want to go through very quickly what they are. Now, you cued me on the air to one of them, which is there are dark letters in the description of the book, in the flaps of the dust jacket.
Right. Technically, this isn't really a code. This is just hidden language. This here is a darker letter.
Aye.
And if you follow down to the word symbologist, you'll find the letter S, and if you follow it, you get a phrase that is a distress call for a secret society.
Okay. And then one of them is this down here, which we have actually blown up over here.
This looks absolutely terrific. This is traditionally called a Caesar box, or a Caesar cipher. Julius Caesar was one of the first people ever to use codes in the battlefield. And I'll just show you here that if you read the code this way, it really does not look like much.
Right.
However, if you read it up and down, you'll find e pluribus unum.
Ooh.
Out of many, one.
Ooh, okay. Now that's another one. Then if you really look carefully, here there is a latitude and longitude.
Yes.
Very faintly in here. This is the latitude and longitude for what?
That is for an American sculpture called Kryptos, and I'm fascinated with encoded artwork. Most of it is in Europe. When I found out there was an encoded sculpture, in this case at the CIA headquarters, I was fascinated. This is by a gentleman named James Sanborn, and it has a very strange message.
So this is supposed to be the latitude and longitude of that sculpture, but it's a mile off, Dan.
It's 1 mile off, and all I can tell you is that is intentional, and you will have to wait to future books possibly to find out why that is.
All right, you stinker. All right, and then right here, if you're very careful, if you put this little phrase here in the torn part of the paper into a mirror, it says,
"Only WW knows." Now that is a piece of text off of this sculpture. This sculpture, Kryptos, refers to just the ancient mysteries, really, is what it refers to. It talks about a location, only WW knows. Who is WW?
William Webster.
That's a good guess.
He was head of the CIA.
He was head of the CIA. I've had some people note, tongue-in-cheek, I'm assuming that WW is an anagram, or an ambigram, rather, of the initials for Mary Magdalene. Just a thought.
Could be Willy Wonka in the chocolate factory, for all I know.
That's probably just as plausible.
Anyway, you got 40,000 winners. So do you draw one out of the hat to get
essentially, yes.
To get the trip to Paris?
Yes.
And who won?
A gentleman named Brian Shea.
Who happens to be right
here.
What
do you know?
All right. How are you? Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So, was this hard?
It was. It was fun, though. More than hard, it was fun.
How long did it take you?
About 40 minutes.
40 minutes? 40 minutes?
That's a record.
I was really into it, though.
You were into
it?
Okay, so you get a trip to Paris?
Definitely.
Pretty neat. Which one, by the way, was the hardest? Was there anyone that was hard?
Without a doubt. I spent half of my time with the coordinates. It was easy enough to find the numbers the way they were pointed out online, but actually finding out using Google searches where it pointed to took probably at least 20 to 40 minutes.
Now, who told you? Did you see Dan on the show when he was on in November?
No, I didn't, actually.
Who told you about it?
My girlfriend's mother-in-law on the phone told her, because I'd read the book about 4 months previously, and she told us, did you do the online contest? And 5 minutes later, I was on there typing away.
Well, if your girlfriend's mother-in-law?
I'm sorry, stepmother.
Stepmother, okay. If your girlfriend's, you'll get this right. You got the codes right. You can damn well get that right.
Again.
Okay. So her stepmother told you about the contest. So you probably should take her, right?
I'm sure she would agree with you.
That she should go to Paris with you?
She might say so.
Is she here?
My girlfriend is here, but her stepmom is not.
Okay. Well, is this your girlfriend right here?
This is her, Nicole.
Nicole. How are you, Nicole? Great
nice
pleasure to meet you.
you.
So why don't you thank her for having her...
Well, first I have to thank Dan Brown, obviously, everyone at Doubleday and OneTravel.com for making this all possible.
Good plugs. Oh, man.
Thank you very much. Not only do I want you to come to Paris with me, I'd love it if it could be our honeymoon. So I have to ask you...
We knew that was coming. So, will you go to Paris with him?
Yes.
How about the other part?
Yes.
One was contingent upon the other, actually.
Well, if you were puzzled as to how to do this turned out to be a nice way to do it.
Thank you very much for helping out.
Best wishes to
Thank you.
All
Thank
the best.
you
Have a nice time in Paris and for the next 60 years with this guy.
Thank you.
Brian, thank you very much. Dan Brown, thank you. And to learn more about the Da Vinci Code and to read a book excerpt, everybody's read the book. Why would you want to read an excerpt? But anyway, it's on our website, abcnews.com.